I'm so happy to, have you guys here. Okay. Hello, hello. You look gorgeous. What's your name? Ife. Okay, it's nice to meet you. My name is Yemisi. I'm happy to be here. Are you? Answer me now, please. Are you sure? Okay. All right. I've said my name and I'd like to know our names. So you can just tell me your name, what you do, and then pass the mic. Is that okay? Okay. I'll start with you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Iroda. I'm a technical support engineer.
All right. Nice to meet you. Good morning.
My name is Victoria, and I'm a customer success person.
All right. Thank you.
My name is Oluwaseun, customer success.
My name is Nana Wow. I'm a customer experience expert.
All right.
Good morning. My name is Toluanimi Mako. I'm a product manager.
Okay.
Good morning. My name is Esther, customer experience.
Okay.
Good morning. My name is Jessica, customer experience.
Okay, please speak up a bit. Yeah.
Don't think the mic.
Say it again.
It's not.
It's not working? Are you sure? It's working for people online, so you can just say.
Good morning. My name is Jessica, customer experience.
Okay.
Good morning. My name is Aladi, currently in customer service, transitioning to data analytics.
Okay. Please, what's your name again?
Aladi.
Aladi. Okay, nice.
Good morning. My name is Ololade, customer experience.
All right.
Morning, everyone. My name is Ife, customer experience.
Okay.
Good morning. My name is Osareme, customer experience.
Okay.
Good morning. My name is Oluwato Singh, customer support.
All right.
Good morning. My name is Kayode Ayodeji. Good morning. My name is Kayode Ayodeji, customer support.
Okay.
Good morning. My name is Olamide, customer support.
Okay.
Good morning. My name is Blessing, customer success.
Okay.
Hi everyone, good morning. My name is Precious. I work in customer operations.
Okay.
Morning. My name is Ibubi.
Sorry, I can't even hear you.
Oh yeah. Good morning. My name is Ibubi. I just work.
You just work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good morning. My name is Davidson.
I promise you, I can't even hear you.
Good morning. My name is Davidson.
Davidson.
Yeah, CX governance.
Okay. CX what?
Governance.
Interesting. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay. It's nice to meet everyone. Yes. Just use my mic. It's okay.
Hi everyone. My name is Olamide. You can call me Landon. I'm a customer experience person.
Okay, girl. All right. So I can see there are 2 seats left in front. So I would like you, do the honors. Someone, spectacular. Just come to the front. Okay, my queen. This way, my darling. No, you can see. Come, 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 come. Thank you. Your eyes. Are you sure? Okay, my love. Thank you so much. Yes, you can. Thank you, my darling. Thank you. Hello, good morning. Please come forward. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming early. I also want to ask, were you here at the last episode? If you were here, please raise your hand. How about the one from November last year? I think. Oh geez, nice. Thank you for being so consistent. How about CX conference? Have you ever been there? Wow, I like that. So it's very nice to meet you all, and I am glad that you are here. I am glad that I am here. I'm glad that this is happening again. Thank you for spending a part of your time with us, and I promise it's going to be a great time. So that being said, I have a question though. I know we're talking about automating the routine and humanizing the experience. Is there a particular thing that you are grateful for that is now being automated? For example, let me just say, I'm not old like that. But then I used to have like pen pals where I'll write a letter and then wait for someone that is going to their state to send the letter to them, and then they'll write back. I'm like, oh my God. I mean, friendship was so solid then. I mean, it's still solid now, but the intention around it made it really, really nice. So I don't know if there's something, and now we have emails, Facebook, WhatsApp, where you can just send it in an instant. They've gotten it, and I think tech has really helped us with that. So is there something that you used to do very manually and now technology has helped? So is there anything you can remember? 1 or 2 persons? Okay. And where's the other mic? Here.
Well, for me, it will be responses to users, because like my own I don't want to say like the AI that I use, ChatGPT, and I feed it, right? So most times when you're having a conversation with the user and you're like, how am I going to, because when you communicate with users, you have to be very I'm trying to find the word, very in quotes careful, because any, especially maybe a case scenario where it's live chat, for example. So, for example, you're trying to let the user know that, okay, we are working on this, all hands are on deck, and you don't want to sound robotic. So, I'm grateful for that because it really makes my work very easy. And I just once you use your AI or your tools regularly, your tools like personally knows what you say. So I just have to say, okay, this is the response I want to give to this user, and voila, it just brings out exactly even better than what I want to communicate to that user. Also, and does also help me with my own communication personally, right? So yes, that's what I'm really grateful for. I don't have to stress in that aspect for work. So yes.
Okay, thank you. Any other? Okay.
So I'll say mine is going to the bank. So when I have issues with any bank, if your customer service is not working on your app, I'm not using your bank because you're not serious. So I like the fact that most banks that know what they are doing have put a lot of effort in making their customer experience on their apps really good. So I'm grateful for that. I've not been in a bank for like a year now. So that's what I'm grateful for. That they've automated.
Okay, nice. Is there anyone online that has anyone else? Okay.
For me, I'm grateful that there are some things that you don't need to wait for the engineering team to sort out. Yeah, like right now, you can use AI to create a dashboard. You don't need the engineering team to help you with the code. You can use it to create like a live dashboard, a roadmap. So I'm just grateful for that because having to have a meeting with the engineering team can be very, very stressful. Like them trying to tell you that, oh, this cannot work, this will not work. So with AI, you can sort it out yourself. All you need for them is to, okay, check this out. Is there any bug that needs to be, fixed and all that? So I'm just grateful that I don't need the engineering team for almost all the things I want to achieve. So yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I mean, engineers are just there collecting stray bullets. All right. Thank you so much for that. And then, so it's time for our first session. And I promise you, like I said, you're going to have a great time, like you always do. You know how we do. So I'll be bringing up Favor Felix. We call him Double F. I mean, you get me? Okay. All right. So he's a software engineer, and now that you have given him a job, I hope he can fight back. All right. So he'll be coming up to talk about. One second. Okay. Favor.
Just one more.
Okay. All right. So what's your first slide? Yeah. So thinking in automations. Nice. So he'll be giving us new insights on how to make things easier or make our work easier. And I hope that you have a great time. So thank you for coming again. I'll see you in a bit.
I should collect your laptop. You need help. All right. Hi, guys. Good morning. My name is Double F or Favor. All right. It was Ed that started calling me that name. Ed is the CTO at Cowrywise, and it has just stuck. And do you agree? I think it's better than Favor, frankly, because everybody bears Favor. And when I came in, whenever someone calls my name Favor, the next thing they start singing is Favor. It surrounds me like it. I'm like, just call me Double F. Like, it works. Anyway, so nice to be here. I heard that. Oh, sorry, I should be using this. But my voice is loud enough, anyways. So I heard, all of us just go around and introduce ourselves. Many of us work in customer experience. I know somebody that said they work in CX governance. We don't have so much time, but I would have loved you to explain what that is. But because again, maybe I didn't do that much because I would have really loved to know what that would look like, CX governance. But yeah, is there any engineer in the room though? Ah, thank God. All right. So it means that when she was saying that, oh, I think you were the one that was slandering us. Don't worry, I'll be gentle. All right. Not all of us are like that. Let me speak for them, but Yeah, we'll just be looking at a simple topic today, thinking on automations. And what is doing basically is saying I just want to help us understand how we build novel automated processes that have scaled for us to solve problems here at Cowrywise, right? For millions of customers. And when I tag it as thinking in automation, it's for us to understand how our processes currently work, right? I mean, everybody has individual processes wherever they work at. But apart from understanding how your processes work, also understanding where it lies in those processes that things can be, automated without a human being having to come into that loop. I would explain more as we go on. Sorry, this speaker is directly in front of me, and it's as if I'm just the only one hearing my voice. Can you guys hear me at the back? All right, thank you so much. All right, so let's just do a quick exercise. Let's see. All right, so please just scan this with your phone. I want to see what AI tools we are using. Yeah, this should be really quick. So, is this going to be showing for our online audience as well? Okay, thank you. So, let's see responses already. All right, so I think ChatGPT is winning. We'll probably stop at say. Yeah, let's just see how far this goes. So Claude is here too. Claude is coming up. I think I don't know if anybody agrees, there was an era where it was just ChatGPT, and then one time like this, I think it was the US government that just blew up Claude, right? Because there was an issue that they had with the Departments of Justice. And, we can see here that Claude is also gaining some traction. But yeah, it means nobody's using Copilot and nobody's using Gemini. Why? Okay.
You said the most.
Oh, they use the most. Okay. Don't hit me. All right, I understand. Yeah. So maybe I should have rephrased my question. Okay, I would have done that. Well, yeah, thank you so much. All right. So how many people then use Copilot? Anybody? For automations. All right. You are a CX.
So I'm a customer intelligence.
Okay, customer intelligence. Great. Wide variety of roles. All right. So I think we can just crown ChatGPT the winner and move on. Yeah. All right. So let me move back to my slides. Great. So the reason I asked what AI tools we use the most, frankly, it was just to get, a feel of the people in the room. These people using AI tools, or are they in 2021? Well, clearly all of us are in 2026. I think we should clap ourselves. Yeah, we should clap our hands for ourselves. Yeah, and basically it forms the foundation of what we would know as automation, right? I remember I think she was the one speaking about how it helps with customer messages, right? And frankly, there are a lot of applications. Like we would never really be able to understand the depth of how this thing can help us, frankly. But this is just a fraction of what we'll be talking about when we are saying automations, right? And the reason I'm using this again is, when you have a conversation with an AI agent, have a conversation with Gemini, Claude, ChatGPT, you find that it retains context, right? And because of that, you are able to come back, ask it another question, and it will be able to answer you with context from the past conversation, right? And that is the simplest way I would define automation, right? You don't have to give it another rule. It just understands. You give it the input and it processes the output, right? Or in a wonderful case, you could have it such that it already knows where to get the input. All right, it's just goes on and processes the output. All right, and many of us call it automation. Some people call it magic, right? I don't know if anybody here calls ChatGPT magic. I do, because every day I'm an engineer, and every day I'm shocked by the thing that this thing does, right? So, does anybody here want to share, the last thing that they did with any of these two that's actually just blew their minds? Anybody? Let's go. I can use my mic. Okay, sure.
All right. So for me, I was able to use Claude to. Thank you. I was able to use Claude to build my portfolio. So all I just needed to do was go to ChatGPT, get some prompts and like some of the codes, and I just pasted it into Claude, and Claude was able to generate the code I also imputed on the portfolio website that I used, and I was able to create that within minutes.
Splendid, within minutes. They say we should not be afraid. AI is taking our jobs. AI is taking our jobs. This guy would have asked an engineer before. He would have asked. Anyway, yeah, that can be mind-blowing, frankly. It might seem mundane right now, but if you thought maybe 2 years ago, that was unthinkable. It's not something that people had ever imagined would have happened, right? And there are a lot of other things that I think I don't want to just, we don't have too much time, but there are a lot of things. I'm sure people have a lot of examples, right, of how AI has been blowing their minds, right? A friend of mine was speaking about how these AI tools work, and it's like, sometimes when we want to prompt these AI tools, we are trying to oversimplify things for them. Right? They're trying to say, okay, this is how you are going to do it, and you're going to go like this, and you go like this, and you go like this. But sometimes if you just put it in the deep end, you will figure it out and it will leave you shut. And that's one of the things that blows my mind about AI, right? That you don't always have to be detailed, right? Somehow it understands. Somehow it understands. Again, you don't always have to be detailed, right? But obviously, for the most optimal results, your prompting matters, right? But sometimes you probably just want to do something really quickly, and you're like, okay, can you figure it out? And I just give it to you, like, oh, it's tried, it figured it out. Sometimes it won't figure it out, but it's left for your soul to just understand. Frankly, if you didn't figure it out that time, I can almost guarantee maybe in the next 2 months, 3 months, or even a week, it will probably know how to do that thing that it didn't know how to do before. Because we are seeing that the pace at which these things are getting better is insane, right? So, granted, AI has blown everybody's minds. Without further ado, let's just move forward. So, why do we need to automate? Number one, it's faster. It's faster. I wouldn't have it any other way, frankly. It's fast. And what do I mean by it's fast? I would argue that every process that we are doing, whether it's in the past or now, just tends towards automation. Think of it from a basic process like calculating numbers, right? Adding 1,000 and 1,000. Before now, I mean, people still calculate, obviously, people still use their heads to do 1,000 plus 1,000. When you look at the more complex numbers, right, people are looking at a calculator or a computer to help solve that problem, right? So basically automation is you're trying to give it an input and let it process out this without a lot of human interaction in the middle of that processing, in essence, right? So I frankly think things would keep on being automated, right? We've seen the evolution of these things, whether it was when the computer was released or when, supercomputers, or when it's maybe the Mark M1 chip or even AI. The things just keep on getting better for ways that they can be, in ways that they can be automated, right? So number one is it's faster, right? I wouldn't have it any other way. You should automate. You should automate things because it's faster. Number two, it's less prone to errors. How many of us agree? Let me even see. If you automate, do you agree that it's less? Oh, my slides. Sorry. While I figure out my slides. How many of us agree that when you use automations, it would be less prone to errors? Okay, maybe you can just help me out. Just can you help me pass down the mic so that I can make the best use of my time? Thank you. Anybody with the mic? You raised up your hand.
Yes, let's move to errors. I agree.
Yeah.
So, but then obviously, we are speaking about automation. So it depends on what you're automating. My voice is not loud enough.
No, I think it's for the audience online.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's less prone to error rate. I agree because having done a series of a couple of automations myself, I agree that. So there are some things that necessarily when you've done it yourself, you don't necessarily need human oversight.
Yeah.
To get those things. So especially when it is like recurring
Exactly.
tasks,
Yeah.
then definitely I agree with you. Like I said, it depends on what you're trying to do. Yes.
Thank you. That depends. Really important. Recurring also really important, right? Because there is some peculiarity with how processes run, right? Not all processes are the same, right? But the good thing about processes is that they are in systems many times, right? Whether it's from step 1 to step 2 to step 3 to step 4, there would probably be a step that could not be automated, and then we'll talk about that obviously. But yeah, when you automate, frankly, it's less prone to errors because I like to say that a tired human being, right? A tired human being might not get as much quality work done, right? But a computer doesn't really get tired, right? So if you are hungry, this can impact your work, right? If you are tired, it can impact your work. If you're exhausted, it would impact your work. If you're sick, it would impact your work. But computers really, I know somebody's going to be like, oh, what of a virus? No, but like computers generally really don't get sick, right? Of course, there are edge cases, like I said, the virus thing. But yeah, because a computer doesn't, a computer follows a procedure, it follows a system, right? It's almost impossible, right? That you would have errors. As an engineer, I know that if I write code, there's something that the code is supposed to do, right? And I am able to test it to see through every line of code that if there is an issue that happens maybe with a customer, I go back to that code. I'm like, oh, the reason that happened is because of my code and exactly what I did here. So it's not that it's the computer's fault, but it's the instruction that I gave to the computer, right? And I think it's also very important that we, take note of that. And then finally, why we automate is because it's cool, frankly. I mean, you are here to listen to how people automate. It's a really cool thing. It makes your work a lot faster. It makes your work a lot easier, right? I will explain to you, as we go on, I will share a case study of how we automated things. One thing at Cowrywise, right? How many of us work in the finance sector? Okay, my job will be very easy today. All right. So what do I need to automate? What do I need to automate? We've answered the question of why. I think the next question is what? What do you need to automate? And frankly, this might be one of the hardest questions, right? Because you would go on, like many of us would leave here to our workplaces, to our teams, and then we ask ourselves questions like, okay, I've seen it, but what is the thing that seems like it's repetitive or recurring that I should, pick out and try to automate, right? So I just put down here, I do a lot of things, but how do I know that it should be automated? Right? There are a lot of processes that would, engage in our workplaces. So without further ado, I just coined something, let's call it the automation framework, so to speak. By the way, I coined this by myself, so maybe I should start writing a book or something. DEMV, like Dembele. DEMV. You can make something out of it. Anyway. So at Cowrywise, I enjoy working with a lot of things, right? I'm not in the CX team, by the way, but I work a lot with the CX team. Maybe that's why I'm here. They'll tell me after now. But I also work with the finance team, right? Again, not with them, but I just like to be around them. And one thing I noticed is you see a lot of processes, right? You see them doing a lot of things every day, right? I come to the office almost every day, look at them doing their work, and it feels like maybe it's reconciliation or maybe it's whatever. So there are some things that you're noticing some patterns, like, oh, this is something that you did yesterday, you did 2 days ago, you did 3 days ago. Feels like there is something here that can be done without a human being having to come into that loop, right? And that's what I think. That's something that the CX team has done really well, frankly. CX team at Cowrywise. They've been able to identify a lot of bottlenecks and see, oh, this is how we are going to fix it. This is how we are going to be able to respond to customers a lot faster. So we're going to respond to them a lot more appropriately, if you will. So that is why I think I have some context, and that's why I think I can write a book on this. I'm joking, sorry. let me move on. So let's call it the automation framework, right? And there are 4 steps, frankly: document, evaluate ROI, map your rules, and then build and test. So let's look at the first step. You're documenting, and this is a very important step. I think it's the first step, frankly, and this is how I would expect us to do it. All right, so let's imagine the process like responding to a customer. Right, a customer sends you a message. Right, maybe the next step is like, you give your phone or give the laptop, you show the laptop to one of your colleagues. Like, am I actually reading this thing right? Am I the one that is crazy, or is like, help me observe this message very well? Right, that could be a step. I'm just trying to understand how to respond to the person. Right, maybe the next step would be, oh, okay, now let me try and craft out a message for this person. Right, but all of that is in the process of just trying to satisfy a customer. Right. So whatever process it is that would be running every time in your workplace or wherever you do your best work, it's just to map out all of the current processes on a step-by-step basis, find out any pain points, find out anything that can be optimized, right? And when I say optimized, I don't even mean it from like an optimization, not from an automation standpoint. I mean it from basically, how are we doing things now that it can actually be better? This is a hard job to do, right? Because when you get to the office or when you open your computer to start working, you already probably have backlog from yesterday. You just want to continue working on. So this requires you to actually step back and take a cost review of what is going on. Right. The person that is doing it might not even be the person that is actually responding to customers or satisfying customers' requests, because again, there's a lot of intent and observatory things that you would need to be doing. So yeah, first step, document, map the current processes on a step-by-step basis, and find any bottleneck and optimization points. Second thing, also very important, evaluate the ROI. That's the return on the investment. Automations are great, right? But you need to also ask yourself, is it necessary, right? Because if you're automating something and it happens maybe 3 times a week, or 3 times, maybe, or 4 or 5 times in a month, right? Does it really pay your team to actually do it? Can somebody just go ahead and do it, right? So it's very important that you ask if it's worth automating, because not every single thing is worth automating, all right? And then next is map out rules. So when you have all of these processes and you've asked yourself the question of whether it is important to automate, you want to map out rules that are clearly set out, such that it feels like there are things that you can push onto a system and that system just follows it. Right? Those rules would have exceptions, obviously. And they will have exceptions. And I'll show you a practical case study of how we do this at Cowrywise, so that I'm not just showing you my textbook framework and you're left in the dark. Right? So after you find any task that is repetitive, right, and you remove all of the exceptions that a human being might actually come inside, what you need to do then is now build that process, or build the workflow, build the automation, if you will. But after building it, a very, very important part is that you test that thing. It is so important that you test any automation that you're doing. I remember when I was working with Boye on an automation, and I was scared to tell him that, oh, it is ready to, go there, because these things, if they mess you up, they mess you up really bad. We're communicating with nibs, and you don't want to have a bad reputation, right? So I tested that thing, man. I tested that thing a lot. So yeah, and apart from testing it, even when it gets to a real life environment, even when you're already in communication with the people, or when the tool is actually doing its work, right? Remember that your data sets that you used, or the data that you used to make this happen, right, is data that you have always known, not data that could come in the future. And that's important, because the data that you have always known was what helped you set the rules. So what you should be looking out for is, when we see new data points, right, how is it affecting? Does it work seamlessly with the automation that we have done? It might not always work, right? I'll give an example, very funny example. So the automation that we did, and I would speak more about it. It was with spreadsheets, right? The CX team is large, quite large, maybe not very large, but it's quite large. So there are multiple people in the CX team, right? The simple task is there's a way to fill the sheets. If you don't fill the sheets that way, you're going to mess up this automation, right? But that information did not go around the team. And so when the sheet is filled in a certain way, you come in favor, oh, this automation has broken down again, or it has broken down again. Like, no, is it people, you did not fill the thing they said the way that we said you should fill it. Right. So it's actually very important. And there was a way we actually solved that problem. So which I would explain again as we keep on going. All right. Does this make sense so far? All right. All right. So this is how we need to automate. Let's call it again, like I said, the automation framework. So let's use a real problem that we encountered to practice.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure, go for it. So is it fine if we ask a question now or after? Okay, let's do after, please. Okay, please, you can just help note it down. Yeah. All right. So a real problem that we encountered in practice. How many of us are familiar with NIBS again? NIBS. Okay, don't worry, I'll explain. Let me tell you something about NIBS. You know them, you just don't know. You know them, right? So if you have made any transfer from your bank to another bank, right? NIBS has been in the middle of that transaction more often than not, right? And NIBS is short form for Nigerian Interbank Settlement Scheme, right? And what they do, they have multiple services, right? The one I'm talking about practically at Cowrywise is what is called the direct debit. They also have instant payment, which is what you would use for transactions where you're transacting from your bank apps, right? And I think we'd all agree that sending money from one bank to another in Nigeria is very fast when it works. Very fast, actually. And it's NIBS that makes that possible. They are able to be the middleman in the middle of all of these transactions and ensure that these payments are instant. So I don't want to go too much into details. That's NIBS, right? Does NIBS make sense now? Does it make sense? So who said they didn't know NIBS? Raise up your hand again. No, please now, please. So if you didn't know NIBS, I just want to be sure that this makes sense to you. NIBS is in the middle of every transaction, and it's important that we understand this before I go on. That's why I'm trying to clear this foundation out. So does NIBS make sense? All right, thank you very much. Okay, so the way we use NIBS at Cowrywise is an asset management firm, right? So we help people to invest their money. Yeah, let's put it that way. Help people to manage wealth, right? And we do this digitally. So many of our processes are digital. Very few would include a lot of human interactions, right? And that's why we need NIBS. Now, NIBS helps us with something called direct debit. And what direct debit does is when a customer creates an investment plan, right? We are able to help that customer to link their bank account to their investment plan, such that when maybe the way your card works, the way you would link a card, for instance, at a particular date, it charges you. So you as a customer just sets up a mandate and tells NIBS, tells NIBS. NIBS is not plural. Sorry, English. So tells NIBS that please help us to charge this customer, retail NIBS, like we are saying charge this customer the specific amount, right? And that's one of the seamless things. It feels like magic when it works, frankly. But the problem happens when it doesn't work. And when it doesn't work, it can be very disastrous, right? A lot of things, like you find out that's when CX inbounds are getting very high. Why? Oh, you debited me, but I cannot see my money. Where's my money? I'm sure you have a lot of comments like that on the Cowrywise. Like you should check our Instagram comment or whatever. It's NIBS, it's not us. It's NIBS. They don't know. All right. So here's the problem. A customer funds again their Cowrywise investment portfolio. The money leaves their bank, but the NIBS rail suddenly drops the connection. Now their funds are in limbo, and we are left at the mercy of the third-party downtime. While an isolated failed transaction seems minor, managing this manual reconciliation for over 30 frustrated customers per day quickly becomes an operational nightmare. Right? So if it happened to just one person, right, we could have been fine, really. Like, oh, we might probably not even need the automation, right? One person just picks it up and goes to help that customer, reaches out to Nibs, and Nibs, responds and finds way to revert their money to them, right? But once this happens, the downtime is long. Like, it's not something that it would go off and come back on immediately, right? So it can cause a lot of problems. So this is what we devised as the solution, or this is the ideal solution, frankly, that Nibs gives us a 99.9999% uptime guarantee. But they will not do that, at least not now. So we have to come up with a solution for ourselves. And this is what it looks like. So this is not an automatic solution, but this was a solution that worked for us for a long time. And this is why this is us modeling the documentation of the automation framework, documenting the process of the automation framework that I shared earlier, the Dembele one that I shared before. All right. So a customer fills a form with valid information about the field transaction, right? It could be a Google form. They just fill the form, put down all of the things that they need, how their money left, transaction reference, evidence of transaction, yada yada. And automatically we get, this one is an automation, but it's not by us, it's by Google Sheets. If a customer fills a Google form, it lands on your Google Sheet, right? So we see it, and every once in a while, a designated person then sends an email. Sorry, the designated person comes from the team, comes to that sheet, and sorts the field transaction by the debited bank name. So what this looks like is maybe every day, every 2 days, somebody comes to that sheet and it's like, okay, let's look at all of the people that are suffering from Nibs Wahala, and sorts out all of those things. The next step is that it sorts, okay, still that third step, sorts out all of those requests by the bank name. So for instance, if somebody had a failed transaction, by the way, Nibs affects every bank, practically every bank, right? So Zenith, Stanbic, GT, all of them, they are inside the same limbo. So we'll sort out all of that. The CX person comes, sorts out all of that by the bank name. Says, oh, these are all of the people that have an issue with Nibs, with Zenith, with Stanbic, with whatever. And then we send it to Nibs one by one on a bank by bank basis, right? Contains the customer's information that helps Nibs with resolution. And it has to be in a specific format. Again, I need us to outline this part where it has to be in a specific format, which is really important. A human being can make that mistake of not sending it in a format that Nibs wanted. And if that happens, Nibs is going to tell you, go and do it the way I say you should do it. Yeah? So after that, Nibs will acknowledge the failed transaction, via email, and that's how the customer will get happy and the world becomes great again. So this is multiple steps that helps us to solve that problem. And it worked. It worked. Every 2 days, Wednesday, maybe Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, check the sheets, look at all of the things that the customer has said, send a message to Nibs, customer gets their money, right? Well, we had a smart person that was like, Omo, people, can't we automate this thing? Like, I can't keep on doing this every time. That smart person is Boye, by the way. He's the person that's coming after me. So that was how Boye identified it, and we kind of started working on it together. All right, so let me show you what the automated solution looks like. Okay, so the manual solution, like I said earlier, the customer is happy, and if one customer is happy and that problem happens for multiple people, obviously you have to keep on repeating it. Remember, I also said that this happens, we check the sheet Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, because frankly, the team doesn't have the bandwidth to check it every minute or every second, right? So if the team, it could also be that we could check it every one day. It might not be Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, right? Depending on the influx of failed transactions. So the problem though is that you are not even checking it instantly, right? Because you want that customer to get satisfied as fast as possible. And that is another place where an automation helps, because there's no human being that has to trigger it. The system just does it. But I will explain as we go on. So because of one person has that issue, you have to repeat it for multiple people or multiple banks. And that's how the manual solution, even though it works, is not sustainable. If we keep on doing that and Nibs keeps on failing, we would need to have and Cowrywise keeps on growing, we would need to, which it will, we would need to have maybe like 500 CX professionals to help us solve this problem. Right? So now let's look at the case study for the automatic solution. Let's keep the part where it is added to the sheet. We already know, like I said earlier, the place where the form is filled and the form's data enters into the sheet is something that's automated by Google Sheets already. All right. So now we're looking at the system to help us, first of all, organize the data. These processes have been optimized already. They have been documented already. We made that job very simple for me. He just said, Favor, this is what we want to do. Right? How can we do it? And because I was not I was not working in the CX team when I would observe them sometimes, I couldn't tell the processes. So they have to tell me how it works. So I look at it and I say, okay, ask him some more questions. You are sending it to the bank, blah, blah, blah. You are sending it to the reports. What format are you sending it? Okay, send me emails that you have sent to NIBS in the past. I look at all of the emails. I'm like, okay, I think we have a plan. So we go on, do something that organizes the data, right? So whenever a new row is updated in that sheet, it just picks it out. Okay, what bank is it coming from? Has this issue been sent to NIBS before? Has it been resolved? What is the transaction reference? Picks out all of that information and it prepares a report, right? In the format that NIBS would expect it. Again, it is a system that has been designed to work in a specific way. So it will not send it in the format that I did not tell it to send it, right? And then it will then go ahead to send this to NIBS and it copies the CX team. So there's an audit trail such that as soon as we send it, the person that was supposed to be doing the job is like, oh, it has done it. And it just continues working, right? So he checks their notification and knows that, oh, this has actually done what he was supposed to do, right? And then it obviously hands it over to the CX team. Sometimes, maybe the CX team can correct me here if I'm wrong. Sometimes when you send it over to NIBS, it doesn't mean that it would be resolved like immediately, right? There could still be some human being interaction that will happen after you have sent it to NIBS, right? But this is where I just, achieve all escalation entries, right? So escalation is basically how things enter to the form, right? When the form is filled up, it becomes an escalation entry. That means the customer is escalating a request to us. It gets over here, and the moment it enters, one request, we sort it by bank. Okay, what bank is this failed transaction coming from? Oh, it's Zenith. All right. So you craft out the message for Zenith here, and then goes over here, sends the email to NIBS, then comes down here and generates a success report. Obviously, there's still something here. This is an important loop that helps us to not repeat a request, right? Because again, we understand that when an escalation entry comes, right, of course, we can identify it many times by the transaction reference. Even though a customer can go on and add another, a customer can report a solution an issue 2 times, right? So those are edge cases that you have to prepare for if you're building an automation. Some of those things you might not be able to catch it when you're testing. It might be in production. Sorry, when you are live. I just have to remind myself that this is not an engineering audience. All right, so we convert it to bank, right? And then over here in this middle, sorry if I'm blocking you, let me just move. It then classifies all of the rows that were affected. And we're coming back to update this sheet to say, oh, this specific transaction has actually been sent to NIBS. So when next this thing runs, it just checks and like, oh, this has been sent to NIBS already. It doesn't need to do it anymore, right? And like I said, generates the success report and sends messages to our CX people. And wait. All right. So you might be wondering, how does this work? We built this with a tool called Any10, right? Any10 is for automations. It can automate a lot of things, All right, we don't have so much time, but I've showed you a lot of other things that we've automated at Cowrywise. All right, frankly, this is even an obsolete solution, but it will still work for many because this has evolved past this. All right, because like I said, processes change and you have to update. After we used this for a couple of months, NIBS said, oh, no need to reach out to us again, reaching out to the bank. Did you get? So this is now no longer the way it used to work. right? But it's still a valid example on how you can automate a process wherever you are working at. All right. So like I said, we use a tool called N8N. Yeah, N8N. Well, you can use Zapier, you can use Make. But use N8N is free. Free. All right. Let me just put that as a caveat. Let me just, and I say it's free because it's an open source tool. So if you're engineering, I know you don't like this one, you need an engineering team for this one. Sorry. Yeah. If your engineering team is willing, right, I'm sure they have servers, right? So they would host it on their server, and then you can be able to access N8N for free. Or you can decide to pay their monthly subscription using their cloud, their N8N cloud. I don't know how much it costs. I think it probably costs over $10 per month. So yeah, you can decide to do that. Maybe your business wants to, or your company wants to take on that cost because they want to pass through or they want to bypass the engineering loop. But if you are going to set this up as an engineer, I have a personal N8N instance, and it costs me like $5 per month to buy a VPS that I host N8N on, and I just use it to automate a lot of parts of my life. All right. I guess that would be it. So spending time with these automation strategies can fundamentally change how your business operates today. Like we said, there's the Dembele framework, which helps you document, right? To evaluate the ROI. Someone remind me the M from the, say again, sorry. Map rows, yes. And then B, build and test. Thank you very much. So I didn't do too bad, eh? Right. Okay, thank you. All right. So that would be the end of our conversation today. Frankly, I hope this would spoil you sorry, I'll allow you clap. Just wait. I hope this would spoil you to go on and build automations by yourself. And understand you don't need the engineering team to build an automation, because anything can be English. The person that uses anything the most at Cowrywise is not an engineer. Right? So you can go on and build these tools for yourself. And if you have any questions outside of this meeting, you can also reach out to me on LinkedIn and I'll be happy to answer them. All right, you can clap now. There's a question, right? Okay, go for it.
Okay, so thank you very much. I think you're speaking my language. Let me say it that way. And I think since you said we can reach out to you outside of here, I would reach out to you definitely. But because we are dealing with customer experience, I know you said Boye is his name, right? Okay, I know you said Boye's name is coming up next, and I think I also see that we are also going to have what's her name now? I've forgotten her name. Come up, yeah. So the CX person, right? I would like to ask. I don't know if it's proprietary information, right? But if it is, then I'll then ask based on what you just showed. Since we are looking at customer experience, I'll start from the last thing, then I'll go back to my first question.
Sure.
So I can see your flow, right? And everything you said, I don't see where it speaks to the customer. Get me? You've built a journey that sort of relieves you as an entity, or let's say the business, right? From the workload of having to deal with manual processing of the customer's complaint, right? But I don't see how you've managed the customer backend. Get my question?
Sure.
The customer has filled the form, right? You are handling that on your own end, but I don't see anything that tells the customer that okay, we've immediately the customer, in fact, sends in that form, right? I don't see anything that tells the customer that this is being addressed from your flow. I don't know if that's happened. So, but again, like I said, because we are discussing customer experience, I think that's an important ask for me. And if you said you have a new process, does that address it? Then my second question would be, you spoke about automation with respect to your framework, right? I think that was interesting because currently in my organization, we are trying to see how, we cut down cost, see how we automate a lot of processes and hand off, human interactions. My question would be, from your wealth of knowledge, when you say ROI, does every automation really have to come with cost? Why I ask that is, maybe we have an existing infrastructure. Like you said, if you put anything, on the banks or whatever server you have, you're able to automate a lot of processes. So, but my question is, if you're talking about ROI, and linking it to processes, because you said really you don't need to automate everything. But I'm thinking if it can be automated, why not just automate it, right? So I want to get your thought process why you said that is linking it to ROI, right? With respect to finances, can't we just automate everything if indeed it really doesn't cost us anything to? Or are we saying we don't want to automate everything because somehow we still need human in the loop? You understand? But I still think that even if you automate processes, you still need human in the loop, right, to still deal with it. So I don't know if my question was clear.
It makes sense.
Thank you very much.
So I'll start with the second question. The first question, Boye, do you want to answer it? All right, because Boye is the CX person, right? And I'm just an engineer. All right, but anyway. So yeah, for the second question, but these are things that are bendable, frankly, right? You are the one that decides whether it makes sense for you. For you, that 10 minutes, it's pain. Like you don't even want to do that 10 minutes at all. And maybe it benefits you, right? It might not be like a general, I mean, for you, it's just, I don't have to think about it anymore, right? In the short term, I don't have to think about it every week or in the next 3 months. So that could be a good ROI for you. You decide that for yourself, right? I also didn't talk about something. So this actually, when we got this out, it saved us 3 hours every week, right? It saved the person that was doing it 3 hours every single week. Add that up in a month, that's over 12 hours. For many people, that's two stretches of sleep. All right. So it has saved you a lot of time, frankly. Gives you peace of mind as well. Nobody needs to also, so your manager doesn't ask you again in a way. Or even if they are asking you, they could still ask you because you are responsible for the automation. But they would also just, sometimes they can just go ahead and look at it by themselves and say, oh, the automation has run. Or they get an email every single day saying, oh, we've seen an automation. It has already, well, we've seen the reports that you sent to NIMS already. All right. So again, the question is, what is the ROI for you and for your team? Right? 10 minutes might be too short, or it might be such a long time for you to spend on a task. And you rather spend 3 hours finding a way to, I don't know, whatever works for you. Yeah, Boye, sorry, you would ask your question.
Yeah. Hello everybody. Good morning. So if I remember your first question correctly, it's how it impacts the customer, how we manage the customer market.
I think you can use your
So what's the best way I can answer this?
So you can just give for the online audience.
Okay. So the best way I can answer it is part of what you have said, time. So imagine you having so it doesn't have even a whole lot of context, more context than I do when it comes to this kind of escalation, right? So NIBS prefers bulk escalations. I don't know, those of us that said we know about NIBS, have we tried doing single escalations to them multiple times? Thank you. They will not answer you. They'll just ignore you. So they prefer it in bulk, and then they treat in bulk. So imagine having to wait for a specific number of transactions to be escalated before you can escalate to NIBS, and then before you can respond to the customer. But then with this automation in place, right, it helps you do it on the back end while you give a customer the expected timeline, because you already know, okay, this automation is running at this point. Not like you can say, oh, I'll do it when it gets to this point, but then you get busy with other stuff and you're not able to do it. And even when you start doing it, you might get distracted with other tasks that you need to do that might seem more urgent, or you just forget. We are human beings, we forget, right? But then the automation has done it. You already have an expected timeline to tell the customer to use to manage the customer. Another thing, I lost my train of thought, but I'm still going to talk more about this during my presentation. There are a lot of points we raised that are pain points to us that I'm happy we raised it, because there are things that I'm going to bring up in my escalation. I'm going to disagree with some of the things he said in my presentation. So hopefully it's going to be fun, and yeah, so maybe I can answer better when I start presenting. Yeah.
I'll keep the question for you then.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Boye. All right.
Metric standpoint. So I wrote it down. I said, with the rise of AI driven customer support, what metrics do you think organizations like Cowrywise should prioritize to ensure they are improving customer experience rather than simply reducing operational costs? So using that NIPS automation as an example, are there certain product or customer metrics that the organization monitors and tracks to show that they're actually improving the customer experience, not just reducing the operational cost?
All right. Boye wants to say something, but do you want to say something, Uche? Okay, so hold on, Boye. Let me just really add. Again, the CX team will speak about this at like in depth, right? But I work on internal tools for many many teams at Cowrywise. And yes, there are metrics that we use to track these things. Frankly, I don't think the metric changes. The metric with AI or without AI is still the same. How are you able to, like, what is the resolution time when a customer gives a request, right? And for every single person that works at Cowrywise, or every single engineer, CX person, uh, there are tickets that are assigned to you, maybe based off of a customer's request, right? We see the average resolution time, like, oh, how fast are you resolving issues, right? Of course, the expectation is that with the advent of automations like this, you are able to close out tickets a lot faster, right? So yeah, I think that would be the answer to that question. Average resolution time, how fast are we closing out tickets from a customer?
Way it helps is it helps with making decisions. So with this kind of we get to see how would I coin this now? We get to see the number of affected transactions. We get to categorize it. Which bank is affected the most? Which bank do we get response from the most? Because you remember he said it gets to a point where you have to hand off to a human being when he was talking, and that point is sending those transactions to bank. So what NIPS does for us is just helps us confirm if that transaction was successful or not, right? And then if they confirm it's not successful, we still have to reach out to the bank to tell them to reverse to our customers. So it helps us track which of the customers, which of the banks are responsive, which one gets resolved faster, how we can also improve the communication with banks that don't respond faster. So the reporting part mainly is the big deal here. It helps us, it even helps management make a decision. Okay, do we want to keep using this particular product or this particular service from this particular partner? So it helps us with a lot of decision. It like I also said earlier, it helps save that time you're going to use to wait for the transaction to get to a specific number before you can escalate. You already know that it's going to run at a specific time. It helps you manage the customer's expectation better because you know, since it's going to run at a specific time, this is when I'll get a response. This is when I can send to bank, and this is when bank will probably reverse. So you're able to make a plus or minus T whatever to the customer, and the customer is not waiting for indefinite. Do you understand? And when it comes to money, we know customers don't joke with their money. So yeah, it helps with a lot of decision making. It helps. Another way it helps to manage the customer is tracking. So another thing we do after a couple of weeks is that we follow up with the customers. So once it's resolved, once customers confirm it's resolved or banks confirm it's resolved, we update the sheet with the resolved transaction. We automated some part of it. We humanized some part of it, right? So automates the I can't remember our topic. Automates the routine, humanize the experience, right? So the follow-up where we send responses to the customers that are pending is a combination of human and automation. It also helps us to report which of the customers are still pending, how we can resolve them, how we can go the extra mile for them. Because when a lot of customers reach out, conversations can get lost in the history, and then you don't know who to follow up with, you don't know when to follow up, and all of those things. You don't know if they've been followed up with. So the escalation, the tracking, everything it helps us. And then because you've escalated, I don't want to say a lot of transactions, but NIPS can be excuse my French, crazy sometimes. And then just 30 seconds downtime from them has affected thousands of transactions, not to talk of minutes or hours, right? So how many of those customers you want to follow up with? So you are able to track. And even if they've escalated, how many of them do you want to keep individually monitoring? That is where the escalation comes in. Sorry, automation comes in. So the automation helps you with the follow-up, it helps you with the tracking, it helps you with the updates from the customer, to keep a log of the updates from the customer. It helps with reporting, so you know how you also know how you are doing, if there's an improvement point you need to make when it comes to resolving customers' complaints and all of that. So like I said, hopefully I get to speak more on it on during my
Can you hear me? Okay, so my question is a little bit open-ended, and I don't think it necessarily has a correct answer. So I would say, what aspect of customer experience should never be automated? Like, regardless of how advanced AI becomes, like, what aspect of it should never ever be automated?
All right. Any answers? Open-ended.
Yes, it's open-ended.
All right.
So I think I was going to ask Boye that question in this next. In fact, she spot on in when he comes to speak. I think a colleague here, she spoke about, oh, sorry. So a colleague here spoke, I think before we started the session, about how she's so excited about AI being able to automate, the way she interacts with her customers. I was going to ask her a question, but then obviously I just realized that the session had not started.
Yeah.
Because I know that from the nature of my job, right, and how I have progressed over time, if there's something I know, that we are all customers, one way or the other. What we really enjoy is that human feel, emotion, empathy, that tone, right, that AI can never give you. Try all you want to do. In fact, I know with anything, for instance, I know you can sort of tell what the tone would be, but it really doesn't really cut it, right. You know empathy, you know human touch when it's there. So I don't know how far and how well it will become in the future, but I really think that today a lot of customers still feel that AI, when it comes to interaction, is still impersonal. Exactly, especially when you're not dealing with an agentic chatbot. If you're dealing with a chatbot, obviously it's in our DNA to just know, okay, I'm dealing with a machine, so I'm not expecting so much from it. But when I am reaching out via, say, a WhatsApp, for instance, come on, if I see something personal, I know, and I will feel it, I will be even more livid, when a bot is responding to me than when a human being is actually attending to that need. So I don't know, maybe in the future, like you said, it will wow us again, and get to that point, which I think it will be scary, but it will get to that point where we can feel that. But I think that we should never hand off when it comes to interacting with our customers, especially when it comes to sensitive issues, right? So because you don't want to get the customer more livid than they already are.
Sure.
Thank you very much.
I agree, actually. Does anybody have any other? I think it's because it's open-ended. I just want someone else to contribute. All right.
Okay, to add to what he said, when you are interacting with customer either via chat or email, it depends on the prompts you give the AI to give you. So there is a way you are going to coin it out. It will give you the empathy. Even if there is any issue, it will give you what to tell the customer. You are going to input the prompt to the AI. This is what you should give me. This is what I want. Then you pick the best. It can give you so many options. Then you pick the best that goes with it. So when you are chatting with thousands customers, you cannot be racking your brain. And you cannot be using same words. And even if you are human, you are using same words, they will think it is automated. So there is a way you have to use the tool very well, so that it will change the words and it will still be empathized or empathetic in nature to the customer. They won't know it is AI. There is a way we use it.
Thank you so much. I understand that you have a question. Sorry, but do you mind keeping it till like next 10 minutes? If you're going to forget it, can you write it down or something? It's not a question. Okay. You're going to forget.
Okay, let's
Okay,
please,
2
mommy, just give
seconds.
her. Please just give her.
Yeah.
I was going to say, in addition to what he said, I think the balance is when it comes to customer experience, things that are like how to, you can automate that. But things that like my money is hanging somewhere, you'll be angry if it's a robot that's talking to you. And I just remembered some experiences I've had with Cowrywise. Anytime maybe I'm looking for something that is more like, oh, how do I do this? I usually respond better with the bot. But anytime I've come and it's my money that's hanging, I keep prompting till they tell me we have connected you to somebody's name. And the person now follows up with me. So I get what he's saying. There should be a balance. Things that are like how to, they are not urgent, but they're important. We can automate that. But things that are urgent and important, please let me speak to a human being. So that's what I was to say.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Favor.
Where's that sound?
Yeah, it's your laptop. All right. Thank you so much. Can we clap for Favor, please? All right. I hope it was a very insightful session. I learned a lot, so I'm learning. I'm still learning. I think that one other automation that we did to help the humans of CX is, for example, you have 30 escalations in one day. Only you forget some customers, let's not lie. But so we did something that will remind you that, oh, that escalation that you did, they have responded. So imagine how life is like easier for you as a person, that I did something and then something reminds me to follow up, and then you now follow up with your customer. They'll be wow, like, oh my god. Meanwhile, you get. So I like automation, or Boye made me like automation. So yeah, we'll be sharing sweets in a bit, just to refresh us and not be bored. You can stand up, stretch your legs while we await our second speaker. Thank you again. I mean, he's already here, but we are waiting. So we'll be sharing sweets. It's coming in a tray in front. Okay, and what do you do? Oh, nice. So did you come from Benin?
No, but I'm in Lagos currently.
Who else? Who else? Okay, please can you help me pass the mic to the back? All right, thank you. Okay. People online. Let me check. You can drop us a message if you have questions or contributions. Please drop in the chat box. We'll be so glad to read them out.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Akimbobola Akimdiela.
Akibobola.
Yeah.
What do you do?
I'm a software engineer.
Software engineer.
Yeah.
Okay. It's nice to meet you. Do we all have sweets now?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Onwodize Anemika. I work
Sorry, I
as.
can't hear you.
I said my name is Zion.
Zion.
Yes, I work as a product analyst at K1 Digital Hospital.
Okay. It's nice to meet you. Zion. in for. So I will just introduce our next speaker and then so this is Oluboye Adekunle. I call him my Oga. Fun fact, Boye is always worried if I do not throw jabs at him. One day he'll come and ask, Halima, are you okay? But yeah, that's it. So Oluboye is a senior customer experience specialist at Cowrywise with over 5 years of experience in customer operations and workflow optimization. He's passionate about leveraging AI, automation, and smarter workflows to help CX team work more efficiently while maintaining exceptional customer experiences. He strongly, more emphasis. I believe that the why should have like 3 whys because he strongly believes repetitive work should always be questioned and enjoys finding practical ways to reduce manual effort through smart systems and process improvements. So, ladies and gentlemen, drum rolls. So let's welcome Oluboye Adekunle, and I believe it's going to be a great time. Thank you.
Hello again, everybody. Hi again. For today. Yeah, so thank you again for taking time out of your busy schedules to come spend some time with us. So I haven't spoken in public in a very long time. I think the last time I spoke in public was my project defense, 400 level project defense. So excuse me if I seem a bit nervous, and sometimes you might see me do. I'm just trying to expel excess energy. So as you already know, my name is Oluboye Adekunle. I am a senior CX specialist at Cowrywise, and yeah, we are here to talk about automating the routine and humanizing the experience. I know there's a lot of questions surrounding how we still keep the conversation human, because a lot of us hate when bots respond to us because they hardly solve our issues. They don't have that extra human touch. So while we are going to automate the routine, we are still going to keep it real. We're still going to keep it 100 and make sure to humanize the experience. But before we start, I'd like to borrow something from one of my favorite artists in Nigeria. I've been to a few of his live shows, and anytime after he performs in a song or two, he does like a vibe check with his audience to make sure they are still with him. So he says something like, Sheng Badumi, and then the audience will respond with yes, care. So that's what we are going to be doing, vibe check. So should we test? For those that don't speak Yoruba, Sheng Badumi means, are you feeling me? And yes, care is just a dramatic way of saying yes. So should we try? Sheng Badumi. Yes. One more time. Sheng Badumi. Yes. Thank you so much. You guys are amazing. So yeah, icebreaker. If you could have any superpower, what would it be? I need like teleport. Second time I heard. Invisibility. Why? I want to disappear. What is it? Huh? Mind reading. Right. Anybody else? We already have that. We already have that superpower now. I mean, yeah, thank you very much. So a lot of superpowers out there that we all wish we had, right? Mine, if you were to ask me, I'll pick super speed or ability to read minds. I mean, if I have super speed, they don't need to buy fuel. I could just run everywhere, right? So, but yeah, there's one superpower I think we all have that we don't use the right way. Bear with me, this is going to sound a bit corny, but just follow me. And that superpower is laziness. So I'm not talking about laziness of I don't want to do the work, I'm tired, I'm going to procrastinate. I'm talking about laziness where if you are doing something for 2-3 times repeatedly, you start thinking to yourself, I can't continue like this, man. And you start thinking how you can make it less manual and more automated. And also obviously keep the human experience. So sorry, where's my clicker? Okay. I mean my slide clicker, not mine. Yeah. So the hidden reality of CX, right? A lot of things CX professionals go through that most people don't talk about. And that's the work is not actually hard, or it's not hard because it is technically complex. It is hard because it is repetitive and manually and mentally tasking. So you wake up in the morning, you have to keep repeating your answers, especially when there's a downtime. You said the same answers to everybody over and over and over, and you do this almost every day. And then you have to make sure you draft the perfect message, because even though it's the same escalation, the messages will come in different ways, and you have to always customize. You have to always, what's that word that CX people like to use? Is it custom? Personalize. Thank you. And that's one thing you always have to have at the back of your mind. You always have to escalate complaints both internally and externally, and the escalations can become draining, right? You have to follow up with your escalations. You have to, some of us, create reports of the escalations and how many of them have been resolved, how many are still pending, and why they are still pending. And then you have to manage emotions that are not your own. Even your own emotions, they try managing, but you are managing other people's emotions, and it can become mentally exhausting. And then it becomes a circle over and over, and nobody talks about this. Everybody just believes CX is, thank you for reaching out to Cowrywise. How can I assist you today? Nah, that's just what people see on the surface, but this is what we go through deep down. Sorry, excuse me. So yeah, today we are going to be talking about how we can use tools, automation, and AI to take some of this load off our shoulders, to automate some of these processes. We can even consider using AI as a therapist to help us through the day. We'll talk about how we can use AI as a assistant or interns, and how they can just make our lives much more easier. Okay, next slide. So my first speaker, he said something along the lines of AI is replacing engineers. That's their business. For CX, for CX, AI is not replacing us anytime soon, because AI is not here to replace good CX professionals. In fact, bad CX with AI becomes worse faster, right? And AI works best when paired with empathy, judgment, and human understanding. How many of us have heard this term? Is it GIGO? GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. It basically means what you feed a system is what it will feed back to you. And if you don't have the human understanding and know how to use AI the perfect way, then it's just going to give you the rubbish that you've given it. Sorry for my language. So let's think of AI as autocomplete for our brain. We still know what we want to do, right? When we use autocomplete, but the autocomplete helps us do it faster. And that's how we should look at AI. It speeds up the routine so you can focus on what really matters. So the goal is strengthening, not replacement. Your empathy is irreplaceable. Shane Badumi. Thank you. So yeah, this slide 3. Oh yeah, so there are a lot of free tools at our disposals that I don't think we use or we know about. And obviously, because we don't know about them, we are not able to take advantage of them. Here are some of the tools that I use every day to make my life easier. How many of us have heard of text expanders? Are you serious? Nobody has heard of text expanders. Sorry, I didn't. It's one second. You've not. Okay. So remember how we talked about autocomplete. So how many of us have seen on our phone, those of us that use like maybe iPhones, for example, if you write there's a specific abbreviation that you write, maybe LOL, it will bring out the full thing, right? And then it just automatically populates it for you. That's what text expanders do. So I know we have our macros, obviously, that we just paste and then personalize and then send to customers, right? But there are some non-macro paragraphs that we use to put that extra touch. For example, thanks for following up. I mean, our macros always have thanks for reaching out, but then you have to take the thanks for reaching out, put thanks for following up. Thank you for holding on. I'm sorry for not responding earlier. And my favorite one, it looks like you missed my message. The message I sent to you earlier, this is it again. I have pasted it. So a lot of extra paragraphs that we use in our everyday lives. And it might not seem like a big deal, but when you start putting in all the time together that you could have saved, you notice that it is actually a big deal. One of the text expanders I used is not free, so I have to stop using it. But while I was using it, it gave me a summary of the how. As you can already tell, I am a Yoruba boy. So it gave me examples, or it gave me a breakdown of the hours I have used or I have saved while using that tool. And I saw that in a month, because I have used the text expander, I have saved, I think, 24 hours. It doesn't seem like much, Abi, but what would you do with 24 hours free time? I mean, most of us are always excited about public holiday because we get to have that day to ourselves. Now, imagine you on a day that's not a public holiday, having that day to yourself because you saved the amount of time using text expanders. So, these tools we are going to see as we go on how we can use them, the free ones we can use and how we use them. We have clipboard managers. So how many of us copy and paste a lot? You have to leave your CRM to go and copy text or something, information, then come back and paste it. And then there are some times you have to copy and paste multiple data from the same source, and you have to go back, come. With clipboard managers, we can avoid that stress. We just copy everything we want to copy at once. The clipboard manager saves it in like a storage, and then we go to where we want to paste it. Open up the clipboard manager, select what we want to paste, and paste where we want to paste. It sounds like magic, but it's really not. Just like Favor said, sounds like magic, but it's really not. We have keyboard shortcuts. I always beef my teammates, my colleagues, especially because of this. You see them right-clicking to copy and then right-clicking to paste. I'm like, madam, this is 2026. Why are you right-clicking to copy and paste when you can just do Control-C, Control-V, or Command-C, Command-V? So I have tried learning a lot of keyboard shortcuts, especially where I see that I am doing this thing often. And then, and our systems are good enough. They are nice enough to tell us what shortcuts we can use to achieve this specific task, right? So I just try to learn it and I use it. I think it was yesterday when I was sitting down with one of the portfolio managers to help me with a customer issue, and it was using Excel. Things that I would go and look for the tool, I would click on it and apply and all of that. This man was just on his keyboard. He was just doing it fast, and I was like, bruh, it would have taken me 20 extra minutes to finish the task he finished under 5 minutes. Now that is 10, 20 extra minutes I am keeping the customer waiting. And once you keep the customer I'm trying to help, if I keep him waiting for 20 extra minutes, that means the ones I have not even gotten to, I'm keeping them for even longer. So please learn keyboard shortcuts. I'm especially referring to CX babies. Please learn keyboard shortcuts. So AI rewriting tools. I mean, we all use ChatGPT, or as I like to call him personally, Uncle Lekon. We use Claude. We use similar tools like Favor talked about Gemini, Copilot. Gemini, Copilot, and all of that. And we can use these tools to, we already do them. So we can use them to compose, refine our responses instead of spending hours to see which word fits here better, which word doesn't sound condescending, or which phrase doesn't sound condescending or insultive. My manager is here. I've made a confession. Let me just make it. She's already waiting to me to make it. So there are some times that I say what is actually on my mind that I want to say to the customer. I'll leave it there. And then I send it to Uncle Lekon, and he refines it for me and puts it the way that it is meant to be sent to the customer. Can do things, and that is where it can even be remember I mentioned it can be your emotional support tool. That is where it can be your emotional support tool, because you vented what you actually want to say out. Obviously, you can't send it to the customer because you need to eat and you need a job to eat. So the tool helps you refine it in a professional way, and it won't do that obviously unless you give it the perfect prompts. Again, we're going to talk about a lot of these things as we move forward, as we move on. Sheng Badumi. Thank you. So these are the real life processes that I have automated. So even before I went to Favor, by the way, is one of my favorite engineers at Cowrywise. No offense, Uche. I said one of, you're also one of my favorites. Please don't tell the other engineers, I can't explain. So, I mean, I heard someone say something along the lines of, it is very difficult getting engineers' attention to resolve one or two things. I mean, it's true, and most of the time, I have realized that it's not their fault. The same KPIs that you are trying to achieve, they have times 10 sometimes that they are trying to meet up with, and they have lesser timelines to meet up with them than you do. I mean, most of our metrics, either at the end of the month, half month, or at the end of the year, right? But them, their own might be 2 weeks because a product needs to go live in 2 weeks. Their own might be a week. It might. So if you bring up that thing to them, and there's already a working solution that you are currently using, they'll just want you to keep using it because that time it will take them to start automating it for you and resolving it for you. They can use it to complete and meet up, with their task. So, like I said earlier, I have more context on the process that Favor brought about. So I'm going to, talk about the process just a little bit. So my first baby at Cowrywise is called the Omni Sheet. How many of us use Google Sheets here? A lot, right? And how many of us have to use multiple Google Sheets? Or is just one? Multiple, right? So that means I don't need to explain how stressful it is trying to move from one sheet to another. And then sometimes you even get lost. You're trying to find a sheet. Before the Omni Sheet, you see someone on Slack at channel. Can someone please send me so sheets? Even the people you're atting, they cannot find it. We have to start checking our history because we probably mistakenly closed it, or something just happened and we lost it. At some point, I had to think to myself, this thing we only do for here, I am too lazy to keep looking for multiple sheets. And what I did was I kind of consolidated all the sheets. I should speak louder. I should project. So, so yeah, I had to, I thought to myself, like, time that I am spending looking for one sheet or the other to either escalate or get information, I can use it productively doing something else. So what I did was I consolidated the sheets. By consolidating, I don't mean copying and pasting what is on this sheet and put it in one single sheet, or what is on every workbook. Don't let me say sheets, because sheets and workbook, different things. So what is on, I don't mean copying what is on one workbook and pasting it on the main workbook, because that's manual, right? That means every time there's an update on that other workbook, you have to go and copy the updates and bring it here. So I just went to my favorite person, my second favorite person in the world, Uncle Lekon, and I was like, Alpha, I have multiple sheets. Is there a way I can have just one sheet? So I have multiple workbooks. Is there a way I can have multiple sheets on just one workbook? With the details of the other workbooks, and it gets updated automatically. And it was like, yeah, this is how to do it. Gave me the formula. I did it. And just like magic, it started working. That's the main story of how the Omni Sheet was born. So till now, we have multiple sheets, that multiple Excel workbooks. I don't know why I keep saying sheets. Multiple Excel workbooks that we use that we don't even know where the original is, because we just have everything coming in on one single workbook, and we have different sheets. So if it's probably an escalation to a partner, we have it here. If it's maybe a form the customer filled that we need to see the details, we have it on another sheet. And if there is a new workbook that needs to be created, all we just need to do is put the formula, and then it gives us the details and it updates automatically. So that's how the Omni Sheet was born. And then from there, we started seeing possibilities. That is how the news escalation came about. So now that we have, I mean, we are a financial institution, right? Those that work in a financial institution, you know that you need multiple partners to function because you can't rely on one partner. And now, if you have an escalation to those partners, they cannot use the same sheet because confidentiality, right? So you need to have different sheets for them. Now, how do you have just one sheet that you post all the information that you need to send to any partner, and that particular information that needs to go to partner A only goes to partner A sheet, and then information that needs to go to partner B only goes to partner B sheet? Sorry, I might be sounding a bit too Thank you. So, yeah, imagine you want to send data A to partner A and data B to partner B. And all you just need to do is pull up a drop down and select the partner you want to send it to, and it automatically posts on that partner sheet. And then maybe you realize that you made a mistake and then you want to delete it. You don't need to go to the partner sheet to delete it. Just remove the drop down and then it automatically goes away from the partner sheet. Sounds like magic, right? But it's not. It's AI, it's automation, it's, I mean, whatever we want to call it. So that's from the Omni sheet, you start seeing possibilities. Another scenario here. So I mean, CXB, we call ourselves CXBs, and so some of you already know that by now. So we're existing one random afternoon, enjoying our lives, and then we just saw a channel from our manager. Moving forward, for this specific customer inquiry, you have to send an email to this specific external party. At first, it didn't seem like a big deal because even before then, before she dropped the update, we're having 2-3 per week. I mean, just like Favor said, if it's not much, I mean, even though I don't completely agree with that part, because what if it's 2-3 per month, but then those 2-3 times takes you hours to do it? Then it makes sense to automate, right? Except maybe it takes you seconds to do each one. Then maybe it doesn't really make sense because you might spend hours trying to automate something that takes you seconds to do, right? But then what if just one escalation takes you like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 1 hour? Then it makes sense to automate. But that's by the way. So yeah, before she dropped the update, we we're having 2-3 escalations at most per week. So it wasn't much. But then it's like she just opened the floodgates when she dropped the update. Everybody and their people started reaching out about that inquiry. So I'm using obviously vague language because I don't want to give too much away, right? But I still want you guys to understand what I mean. So I saw myself in a day having to go to my Gmail. I click on compose. I put in the external party's email address. I copy CX babies because we need to always be in the loop of any external mail just in case you're not around, someone else can follow. I put the subject, I copy the template, paste it, personalize it to that particular customer I'm escalating for, and send, and then go back to go and see, keep going back to see if there's a response yet. And then I thought to myself, oh, I'm too lazy for this. So I just went to ChatGPT and I asked it, is this something, can I do something where on the Omni sheet, again, Omni sheet, I put the information that needs to be personalized. And then once I click this button, you do every other thing for me. And he said yes, and he gave me the steps. I followed the steps. And now, I think as at the last time I checked, we have used that flow 863 times. And the update she dropped, I think it was last month she dropped the update. 863 times we would have sent emails out manually because we did not automate. So that is the power of automation. And with just one sheet, we've seen possibilities. With just one sheet consolidation, we've seen possibilities. We even have I think she briefly mentioned it. We call it Amebo. When there's an update from one of our escalations in our email, there's a trigger. Everything is happening from the Google Sheet, by the way. There's no anything, there's no extra tool. Everything is happening from the Google Sheet. And that is why I think I love this conversation. He has given you the perspective from the engineering side. I am giving you the perspective from the CX side when engineering don't have our time, how we can find a solution in the meantime. Right. So I found a way to connect it to Slack. And now anytime there's a response to my email, to my escalation that I did not even send myself, the trigger sent it for me. It lets me know on Slack that Alpha boy, there is a response to your so escalation. This is the response. It doesn't only tell me there's a response, it tells me what the response is. If there's an attachment, maybe I requested for an attachment, it sends the attachment to Slack. And then it also marks the mail as read so that I don't have multiple unread emails. So you can see the possibilities, and it just started from one Google Sheet. So yeah, sorry, give me a second to unlock. Okay, my clicker. By the way, Shane Gbadu me.
Yes, sir.
Aha, my favorite part. So remember I talked about how we are going to see and use the different tools and see how they work. I'm going to try and do them right now. But disclaimer, we are going to be using AI, ChatGPT specifically. You know how ChatGPT can be. Sometimes it gives you rubbish. But I think that's the beauty of this. We are doing it live. It might give us the rubbish, but we'll see how we can steer it away from being dumb to steer it to being smarter, and how we can make sure it achieves our goal without running out of our free plan. So yeah, I'm going to need like 5 minutes just to set up, because I need to present my screen for the online audience so they can see what we are doing. And we are going to start with text expanders. I actually felt like 50% of the people here might know what text expanders is. So it's actually surprising, but I'm happy because it makes me, no, not the smartest, obviously, but it just makes me, happy that I'm able to teach. I'm able to teach people things. So yeah, like I said, give me a second. I'm going to on project so I can open a link from my WhatsApp. I don't want you people to see my dirty business. Some of these automations we do it for our own selfish reasons, right? But somehow, it finds a way to positively impact the entire team, which is good. When I did the email trigger, I had myself in mind that I cannot keep sending multiple emails multiple times. But then I knew that everybody felt the same way I felt. So I shared it with the team, and people started praying for me left and right. I was hearing you will live long. I'll name my first child after you. So yeah, that's the beauty of automation. You get free prayers too when you do it. So joining the meeting. Allow. Please let me know once. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Another open system setting for what now? Oh, I opened Zooms directly. Sorry, let me join from browser. So I was going to say something. Yeah, another reason why I'm happy we are doing this is because when we go for a lot of things like this, they always tell us how to make the experience better for customers, right? People hardly talk about how we can make our own internal experience better for ourselves, how we can reduce the stress. Um, yeah, so it's a nice thing to talk about, and yeah. So the meeting is coming up. Where are you people stand up? Sorry, I'm only filling up space. I'm going to speak up once it's time. Okay. My boss, is it showing? Please let me know. I'm sharing. Oh, I'm not. Yeah, it says your screen is sharing. Yeah. Let me stop and start again. Alpha. Sorry, this is just for our online audience so they can follow along. Okay. Now I can speak louder. So we have I just drafted some live examples here that we can use. So like I said, we have text expanders. You people were is much. I'm just joking. Okay. How's this? Yeah, we can work with this. Okay. Sheng Badumi.
Yes.
Thank you. So so I put the same disclaimer here so that people not be abusing me in the background when something doesn't work. But yeah, so for text expanders, like I said, it's like autocomplete for everyday things that we do. So for example, the tools that I use, actual tools that I use, one of them is called Auto Text Expanders, and another one is called Web Text Expanders. They are browser extensions, so you don't need to download any extra application on your laptop. So this is one of them, the Auto Text Expander, and this is another one, the Web Text Expander. I would have opened them, but I have some proprietary information there, so please bear with me. But I created an example of an expander we can use. Let's go all the way down. Let me do command enter so we go to a new page. So for example, if I type exclamation BP, see the magic, see the long text that just popped up because I typed exclamation BP. So this is a test I've created specifically for Sales Blueprint to show how the text expander works in real time, blah, blah, blah. Let me show you some of the ones I use real life. So I use FOF. So the trick is to use abbreviations that do not have the same spelling with any actual word. For example, I don't think there's an actual word that has FOF. There might be, but not part of my vocabulary. So then I use X. So if you don't have a choice than to use the actual word, because you need to use something you remember, right? So you can put exclamation at the beginning. Some of them will allow you put exclamation at the beginning so that you don't type the same word and you don't want the expander to come up and then it comes up. So this is my favorite one that I talked about earlier. I use OHL. So like a lot of them. There are even some. So this other one, it would allow you include a copied text in your what's it called, in your expansion. So for example, let's copy thanks for following up, and then let me do exclamation.mail. So for this one, you need to be really fast. It might work sometimes, it might not work. That's why I have two, just in case one is not working. Oh, unlucky for us, it's not working. But yeah, so the idea of that one is maybe that particular little macro I have created I'm supposed to send a specific information to that customer. So I copy that information and I use that the expansion or the shortcut, and then it puts out the message to send to the customer and also includes the information I have copied. So I don't need to be personalizing anything anymore. I just send it out. So yeah, I mean, we have a pretty decent idea of how text expanders work, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I hope I mean, you can write down the names. So the actual name is Auto Text Expander. It's a web extension. I'm using Google Chrome, but if you use Microsoft Edge, I think the web extensions are actually usable on all platforms. So you can use Google Chrome extensions on Firefox, Mozilla, Microsoft Edge. I don't know about Safari, to be honest, but yeah, I use Chrome, so it works for Chrome. We already talked about how it works. So clipboard, yeah, this one, like I said, so for Mac, we have to, or I use an extension for Mac because Mac doesn't have an official clipboard. I mean, they be just like they always talk about. They'll be talking about bringing an update to Mac that will allow you to use it in the future. We don't know when that is, but I wish I could show a Windows laptop. The idea of a clipboard is for Windows, it has an inbuilt one. Once you press Windows plus Shift plus V, it brings up like you know how a clipboard is. Just think of a physical clipboard. We all know what a clipboard looks like, right? Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, so this is what clipboards look like. So now imagine you having this thing, and then everything you want to copy, you're writing it one by one on the clipboard, and then you go to where you want to paste it, and you just carry it and dump it there one by one. Yes, that's how the clipboard works. Because I mean, just like I said earlier, we have information that we can't copy at once. So someone might be thinking, why can't you just copy it all in one copy session? You can't copy. There are some things, especially Excel. Maybe one is on C2, the other one is on Z2. You can't copy. If you copy C2 and go and copy Z2, what you've copied in Z2 will automatically rewrite C2. But with clipboard, that doesn't happen. It saves both of them for you. When you get to where you want to paste, for Windows, you use your normal Control C to copy everything. Or for those of you that still use mouse, you use your mouse to copy, and then when you get to where you want to paste all of those information, you use your Windows Shift V. You still have to use your mouse to click the exact text you want to copy, you want to paste, and then it pastes it for you. For Mac, like I said, Mac doesn't have an inbuilt clipboard manager, so I use this extension called Clipboard History Pro. Let's copy this and let's come and paste it here. No, we've copied, sorry, we have to copy more than one thing. So we copy this, let's copy this, and then let's copy this. And now we want to paste everything here. Obviously, the first thing we copied will not be there anymore. So I have a shortcut I use, but you can also click on the extension. It's called Clipboard Pro. Clipboard History Pro. Yeah. So I set up a shortcut I use. It brings it up. I copy the first thing, paste it. Then the second thing, paste it. And the third thing, and paste it. Right. So I didn't have to go back to the original document, to paste all these things. I did everything on a single page because I can. Yeah, and that is the magic of clipboard. Yeah.
I think you're forgetting something. For the Windows, you have to press it before you start copying.
Oh yeah, yes, yeah. Thank you so much. So for Windows, you have to turn it on. So it's off by default because it's a privacy thing, I think. So you have to, before you start doing your multiple copies, you have to turn it on. So once you press this Windows Shift V, it will ask you if you want to turn on. You click on the turn on button and then go back to start copying your things. Thank you very much. No, just once. It's a one time thing. Yeah. And then it will make sense. Anything that is adding more stress or work, it doesn't make sense to use. Sorry?
Mine doesn't work.
You use Windows? So maybe just ask Uncle Lekon or
No. I'm saying I don't have to. It came turned on.
oh, it came turned on. So probably were you the first user of the laptop?
I don't.
So maybe that's why. So maybe someone else using the laptop has turned it on. Right. So AI assistants. I mean, we're all familiar with this. I have a prompt here. We're just going to do the usual composing macro. So Favor said something like I was happy it said because it sets this up really well. It says something about AI always having context of whatever you've given it in the past. So that is why before you start a chat, first of all have different charts for different specific things. For example, if I need an Excel formula, I don't do it on the same chart I get macros or responses from. I have a different chart for Excel formulas. I have a different chart for when I want you to rewrite macros for me or draft a response to a customer's request. So that way, because it has context of everything on that single chart, it would be more personalized to that specific role you're giving it. If you have Excel formula here and you have creating portfolio on the same chart, and then you have responding to customer, when you want to do something, it might start mixing it up. Yeah, because AI bugs a lot. I mean, I'm sure we've noticed it. AI bugs a lot. So I just drafted I wanted us to draft it ourselves, but I felt like that would take more time. So I just drafted something and then see how we can use it. So the prompt is you're an expert senior customer experience professional. I will be sending different customers messages to you and I will need you to compose accurate responses to those messages using the guidelines below. We're going to talk about the guidelines later. If there is a customer inquiry that you don't know how to accurately handle, ask me to provide more context or steps on how to handle that situation. Do not come up with a random solution or answers out of nowhere. I mean, I think we can all agree that this needs to be there, right? Sometimes I might also include my proposed response and need you to rephrase using the same guidelines. And if I have left any part of the customer's inquiry out of my proposed response, please call my attention to it. And if possible, include a response addressing that part to it in my final response. And if possible, is back to this line where it doesn't come up with random solutions. Because if you tell it to just come up with an answer, trust me, it will ignore this first line and still come up with a random answer. So I will also sometimes drop responses without including customers' messages. If that's the case, all you need to do is help rephrase using the same guidelines below. I mean, anybody can understand this, right? I don't think there's anybody in this room I mean, if there is, please feel free to speak up so we can talk about it. But I don't think there's anybody in this room that would say they don't at least 90% understand what this instruction is supposed to do. Right. So the same way it is easy for us to understand, that is the same way we must make it easy for the AI to understand, for the tool to understand, right? So these are the guidelines. So example, for the tone, we just set our tone. So we can insert desired tone. So empathetic, reassuring, direct. Do we have any other suggestions for a tone? Professional. Polite. Professional. Yeah. I mean, let's stop it there. Formatting. Use short paragraphs and insert bullet points or numbered lists for readability. Do not include the long dash that comes with all AI written responses. I'm sure we can agree that make them not catch us. So the goal, this is still part of the guideline. The goal is to acknowledge their frustration, but do not over apologize and provide a clear solution if applicable. Response should not include ambiguous or difficult to understand words. You don't want to be telling customers entourage when you can be using convoy. I don't know like I said, I don't have big words in my vocabulary, so I only know small words. So you don't want to be using, okay, there's a word I know, hoity-toity. hoity-toity means snob. See how I said hoity-toity, but nobody knew what that means. You don't even believe it's a real word. But yeah, it's actually a real word. It means snob. And you don't want to be using hoity-toity for a customer that they've not collected their money. Right. So is it difficult? Don't use ambiguous or difficult to understand words. Very important. And the response must always be clear and properly communicated as easily as possible. Because you don't want to be telling, I mean, there are some internal lingos that we use if we speak amongst ourselves, we know what it means. But you don't want to be telling Iyaboye that there is a downtime with the central interbank processing kinikon that is Egbangbo mi kiloko mi pẹ̀lú downtime. That's what she will say. For those that do not speak Yoruba, what I just said was give me my money. I don't care about what you just said. So you want to explain it as easily as possible. So let's see if we can copy this prompt, paste it on our AI, and just allow you guys give me random customer inquiries, or no, not random customer inquiries, just a random message. Let's pour out our I promise you I can speak English well, but yeah. Sorry, I need my two hands to copy this. Give me a second. I need both hands. Come and see. You want to take? Are you taking pictures of the prompt or? Okay. So yeah, let me just split my screen. Yeah, another thing I did not mention, but I mean, hopefully we know is how to maximize productivity. So for example, if you need two different screens to work on something, you don't have to be navigating up and down. You can just, Windows also has this, just split your screen. And yeah, this is my ChatGPT. Just split your screen and you see we have two screens. That's why you be seeing all those engineers, they always form like what I don't know. They'll be using monitor. I'm looking at you, Uche. But yeah, so this is how they can get productive. I think there was one time I saw my manager. She split screen on a normal laptop. She still use monitor. Still split screen there again. I'm like, what are you even doing? Is it not the same work that we are doing? But obviously it's not the same work. But yeah, so that's how you can be productive. Even if you don't have two different windows, I think some browsers allow you to split tabs now. So I think for me, for Chrome, once I click on this button, I can put two tabs side by side. So yeah. Okay, so we've copied our prompt. Let us paste and send. And let's see what this segment will tell us. Okay, so understood. Going forward, when you send me a customer, so this is what I like about the new version of ChatGPT. It breaks down every action point you're giving it, so it lets you know that it understands. So you need to also go through. Don't think that it's too much jargon. Go through it to see if it has missed anything, so you can correct that specific thing. So if, for example, what it says is wrong, I can just copy this and say this line where you said this. This is not accurate. This is supposed to be this, so that it removes that particular thought or that particular line from its thought process and then replaces it with what you've given it. So if you don't read this entire thing, you might miss something and you'll be wondering why your prompt is not working when you've given it the perfect prompt. Meanwhile, you just missed something in its understanding. So who wants to give me an example of a response you can send to the customer? Like I said, I come here to pour out my heart. So let's see if we can do that. Be nice, but be raw. Who wants to try? So let's assume let's create a scenario. A customer sends money to you. You provide an account number for the customer to send money to. You put in the bank and you put in the account name. But then the customer sends money to the same account number but a different bank. So obviously it goes to the wrong account. And then the customer is blaming you and saying it is your fault, that you guys are scam and kinikon. Who wants to draft a response that we can use? A raw response that we can use. Oh yeah, now they told me I have 5 minutes too, and I still want to show us that Google Sheet thing I talked about. So who wants to help? Okay, let me start and maybe we can go from there. Thanks. So the reason why reason why the FOF didn't work here is because ChatGPT is not part of my browser. Remember, it's a browser extension. It only works within the browser. So that's why it didn't work here. I just remembered after I used it. Thanks. You send the funds to a wrong account. The account. No, the account number is the same. So you can see the choice of words I'm using here. You failed to. This can sound condescending to a customer, especially an irate customer, because so you're telling me I don't have sense. That's the next thing they'll say. I mean, I'm sure we've all experienced that. Especially when you call them out for being wrong. So you're telling me I don't have sense. That's the next thing you hear. So I'm using this choice of words purposely so we can see how or what the AI gives us. When you were I'm sure those of us that work in a financial institution, as they are seeing this thing, you're like, very familiar. This, especially this word, recall. I want to throw in something unexpected. Like I said, sometimes we have to pour out our heart the way it is. If not, we'll just end up being stressed unnecessarily, even after the issue has been resolved. Oh yeah, also use Grammarly. For those of us that don't use Grammarly, also use Grammarly. I mean, there are a lot of tools that will make our life easy. So I'm going to send this. We are all reading it, right? So I mean, see the prompt I gave. I see that you send the funds to the wrong account. While the account number is the same, you failed to choose the correct bank. I didn't even spell correct properly. When you were sending the funds, please reach out to your bank to file a recall for the transaction with your big head. And then this is our professional response. Upon reviewing the transaction, I can see that the funds were sent to an account at a different bank. Although the account number matches your intended recipient, the selected bank was incorrect at the time the transfer was made. Since the funds were successfully delivered to the destination account provided in the transfer, we are unable to reverse the transaction from our end. We recommend contacting your bank as soon as possible to request a recall of the transfer. Your bank will be able to engage the receiving bank. See, even things that I probably did not remember to tell it, it has put it there. So this is how a powerful prompt, an easy prompt can help us do easy things. Do I still have time to do my Google Sheets thing? Well, that's a good one. So this is okay. Zooming in. Okay, so see the notes. I have removed the phrase with your big head as it is inappropriate and could escalate the situation with the customer. Right. So thank you for. Can you see it now? Can you see that back now? All right. Thank you. So yeah, do I still have chance? 2 minutes. 2 minutes is not good enough. Do you guys want to go home? Okay, let's just see. So we won't go deep. We'll just see what's the next one I have here. Sheet linking. So we'll create 3 different workbooks. One will be our main, and the others will be different things, external. I want to upload data on the 2 external sheets and see how we can route them to our Omni sheet. We'll use ChatGPT to create the workflow and follow the steps, the process step by step. So let's create sheets. Sheets.new. Name this main, then new spreadsheet workbook 1, new workbook 2. So test 1, blue, print 1, CX 1. So basically what I'm trying to do here is obviously come up with like random data. So we have 3 different sheets. It's stressful to be going to looking for the sheet we need the information on and then trying to start, looking for the data. So that is why we have our main sheet. We'll create different main workbook, creating different sheets under the workbook. So workbook 1, this is where the data for the workbook 1 come into. Workbook 2. So yeah, now this is where AI comes in. I have 2 different, 3 actually, 3 different Excel workbooks. I want workbooks, main workbook 1. Thank you. 2. Main workbook. Oh shit, sorry. Mm. Mm. Yeah, that's why I said the other on the other sheet. So yeah, it will understand. If it doesn't, would please make. No, let's just do. How can I achieve this? So he's giving. So I forgot because of our time. I missed some things I should have added. Like I am a non-technical person, so give me the easiest way to achieve this. That's something that you can improve include in your prompt. So because I have little experience about this, this option 2 is what it would have given us if we had put in that prompt of us not being technical. So it says if the workbooks are relatively small and always remain in the same location in main XLX, workbook 1, sheet 1, AI, then drag across, blah, 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 blah. No, actually, this is not it. Yeah, so like I said, AI messes up sometimes. Let's see. Don't want to. Okay, actually, I think this would work. Can you give me the formula I can paste on? Actually, let's name it sheet 1 because okay. Sorry, they're saying I don't have enough time again. Is it possible I can send a video later to everybody that's here? Okay, would you guys like me to do that? Okay. Okay. Okay, would you guys like me to do that? Okay. Okay. So I think it's also about to rain, so we want to wrap it up. So I'm going to yeah, or too dependent on human judgment, and that's okay. So you don't have the automation to run. The time you have spent trying to fix, because you definitely try to fix the automation instead of going to do it manually directly, because it's just human nature. And all those you just wasted all those amount of time, and you still not achieve anything. So what we can do to achieve good automation, redesign the process first. Once we redesign the process, it removes friction, saves time, improves experience. Um, Final takeaway: the best CX professionals of the future won't be the fastest typers. I remember I worked at my first CX role. One of my tests to get the job was to go to typefast.com to check my words per minute. And if I scored below a certain, I passed every other stage, it was just that typing test remaining. And if I scored below a certain, what's it called, words per minute, I'm not getting the job. Thank God for Mavis Bacon in my life. I've written their name. Yeah, so it's not the fastest typers or the busiest people. They'll be the ones who combine empathy, critical thinking, and technology. So all those things, as you can see in the diagram, works hand in hand. Empathy, you understand the human behind every conversation. Sometimes it's difficult. Let's not lie, because even though there's a nice customer reaching out to us and talking to us, there's probably a very not so nice customer that has annoyed us like 5 minutes ago. So it's very hard to be empathetic all through the day, right? But you always have to understand the human behind every conversation. I won't lie, I always hear this thing a lot. They're not angry at you, they're angry at the process of it. But let's be honest, is then direct your anger to the process. Don't direct it at me. But yeah, I mean, we can understand. We've been in situations like that, we also get upset because something is not going our way. And then once we're able to understand the human behind that conversation, we're able to think critically, question the process that we are taking to resolve that customer's complaints. How long is it taking? We are not just questioning the outcome. We're not just thinking about the outcome. Yes, the outcome will be to resolve the customer's complaint, but how long is that process taking? Is it taking too long? Can it be automated, or some parts of it? You don't even have to automate the full process. You can automate some parts of it, even if it reduces 30 seconds. 30 seconds times, let's say 5. That's still like almost, I mean, 150 seconds. Or let's say times 50. That's like 1,500 seconds. And if you convert 1,500 seconds to minutes, that's still like minutes that we can spend doing something else. And then technology, use tools to multiply your impact, not your workload. So we are talking about automation, AI, this one, that one. You can create one automation that will now give you extra work. Instead of doing ABC without automating, you automate, you are now doing B, C, D, E, F. Does not make sense. So yeah, work smarter sounds cliche. Is it cliche or cliche? It's cliche. Until you realize how much time we lose doing things manually. And on a final note, thank you so much. That does one. Don't want.
Can we give another round of applause? Well, nobody has clapped for me since. So. Give up for even my nice voice. See the beauty. Guys, stop it. So I hope we had a very nice session. I did, and I know we have questions. But we have, is that good? So that we can go home in good time. Okay, so first question goes this. Okay, Favor is still around. All right, so the question is, the person says, my question is regarding process automation and customer segmentation. What would you consider the best approach for automating email segmentation for already existing customers in a way that customer activities or behaviors automatically trigger contextual communications? For example, whenever a customer completes a specific action or reaches a particular stage in their journey, they automatically receive relevant guidance or communication on the next steps to take. Should I take it again? Okay.
And around customer segmentation gives me an idea of what the person might be trying to ask. Hopefully I am not wrong in answering your question, but if I am, just let me know. So again, whoever asked the question, let me just repeat it so I'm sure I get you. So what you're asking is, through the life cycle of maybe customer being onboarded or customer using a product, right? There are multiple triggers or multiple things that the customer will do that puts the person in a different cadre, right? Or makes it such that the experience for that customer should be customized such that not every other person is experiencing it in that certain way. And you're asking, how can you automate it throughout that life cycle? Is that what you're asking? Who asked the question? I hope that is the question. Right. But yeah, I believe there are tools for this, right? But the truth is you cannot achieve what I have just said without having with a team that is not closely knitted, right? Across several. So basically should be intra communication across multiple teams, right? You cannot achieve this seamlessly if your engineering team is fighting with you, right? Or your marketing team, for instance. Right. So 3 of these teams have to work in conjunction to ensure that something like this is possible. This is not a customer experience thing alone, frankly. But of course it enhances the customer's experience. So how we do this actually at Cowrywise is we use a tool called Rain, go away. Come again another day. For instance, we have a product like Nest on Cowrywise. How many of us know Nest? For instance, we have a product like Nest on Cowrywise. How many of us know Nest on Cowrywise? All right, our investment account for kids. All right, I'm not loud enough. Sorry. Can I do this? Okay. All right. So we have a product called Nest. An investment account for kids, right? Many of us might not know it, even though you are Cowrywise customers. I don't know if everybody here is a Cowrywise, but you might not know it because you're not our target customer for that product, right? So we understand, like, we're able to craft the experience such that we know you might not need it, and so you would never get anything around that from us, and because it feels like a burden, or like, imagine somebody that is 19, right? Trying to save up like for rainy days and telling them to create an investment account for their child, right? Like, what are you even saying? Do you understand? So it's basically just trying to understand, and that's why I say it's not something that the CX can do alone, right? You work with multiple teams. What information are you collecting from your customer, right? And then use that to understand how you are communicating with them. Some other tools that I think I can explain. So we have a couple of internal dashboards. I mentioned earlier that I work on most of the internal products for whether it's HNI clients or every other clients or every other customer, basically. And there are tools that we have created for our CX team, right? So one of the things that is ingrained in the DNA of Cowrywise is many of the CX members here, they have so much power. They can do a lot of things even when we are not around. And that's because we've made it so for them. I think it's possible. Maybe you guys will correct me if I'm wrong. You can go through like a whole day, get customer queries, and you might not need to reach out to backend or reach out to an engineer, a support engineer, because we have created a system that allows them, right, to walk through all of these things. I think that's something you can also carry out of here. It might not be fully hinged on the automation thing, but it makes things a lot faster, which is one of the goals of automation, right? That you are able to get there's some like, how do I put this? Yeah, there's some interactivity with multiple teams, right? That would help everybody, the business generally, achieve its goal. I hope again that I'm able to answer the person's question. All right.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. So we have space for just one question. So if we have questions, can you raise your hand? If you have any question at all for Boy, for Favor, one. Okay.
All right, so I think he has not answered my question. So I asked the question when Favor was speaking, right? And so the reason why I asked that question is because we are trying to discuss customer experience in that sense. And for me, I really, really learned a lot today, just to put that out there. But where do we cut the difference between customer service in terms of operations and customer experience in its sense? So, which is almost maybe say the strategic arm, that drives operations. So the reason why I'm saying that is, Boye said a lot of things that made me laugh. When he said that we are too focused on the customers most times, that we forget somehow, or sometimes, that we need to also make internal experiences also great. But I think that that's also customer experience, because the employee experience is what now trickles down to the customer experience. So I see a lot of work going on there, right? So, but how do we now, again, for me, I think we've answered the question around automating the process. I'm still a bit on the fence with respect to humanizing the experience, right? So for me, that's where my own concern is. How are we bridging that gap? Because it's very easy to, Boye also touched that, but in my opinion, he just touched it in the in the sense that he was looking at it from the automation point of view, where he said we can automate into crisis. But again, how are we creating that, bridging that gap, right, with respect to operations and strategy, such that the customer really feels heard and is also happy that whatever it is that we are doing internally to improve the employer experience also trickles down to that customer. I don't know if my question is correct. Is clear? Yeah.
It is very clear. So I have a question for you too. Is it possible to have, okay, let's say we have 2 million customers. Is it possible to have 2 million satisfied customers?
No, it's not possible.
Okay, no worries. So who was Boy?
Right. So if I can, if the summary of your question is how do we bridge the gap to humanize the experience? I think that, let's be frank, it boils down to you. I think I mentioned it when I was trying to set up the online thingy. We have a lot of talk about how we can make customer experience better for the customers. Most conversations, most CX conversations that you go around hearing is how you can make the experience better for the customers. But remember, with my slide, I started with the hidden reality of CX. There's this burden on us that nobody really talks about. And before you know it, it creates a mental exhaustion that we then somehow, without realizing it, or maybe we realize it too late, we transfer it to the customer. I might not have a real answer for you or a chart or whatever to show you, but what I can say is it boils down to the human being. If it takes you 5 hours to escalate a process, and then after the 5 hours you are tired, and then you still have to respond to customers, do you think you'll be at your best responding to that customer? Right. But if you can automate that process, and it just takes the automation is running in the background, and you are your full self responding to your customers with your full energy, do you think you do a better job humanizing that customer's experience? So I think you can look at it from that perspective, right? We have automated the process that creates mental exhaustion for us, and it gives more room, more joy. It gives us more energy to respond to that customer or other customers in the human way. I think that's the best way I can respond to it. Do you understand? Like Alima has said, you obviously cannot have 2 million certified customers, but trust me, every company wants to have 2 million. They don't care whether you can do it or not. Every company wants to do it, and you don't expect me to respond to all of them the same way, because energy high, and the more I go on with my day, energy low. But then if I have to have another routine that would create more energy draining, mental draining activity, like stress on me, by the time I get here, it's even lower than it's supposed to be, because I have had another process. So maybe we can look at it from that angle. That do you understand? So the automation is for CX people. We go through a lot. Nobody talks about that. So once a routine is working, once a process is working, nobody wants to really change it. They always say don't fix what's broken, right? You don't need to fix what's not broken. Sorry, but can you improve that? Even if it's not broken, can you improve it? So yeah, let's see how even if there are no engineers available to help us, maybe because they don't want to with their big head, or or they don't have the time because they also have other KPIs to meet. Let's see how internally we can reduce some of the stress that comes with our process so that it gives us more energy to humanize the experience.
Thank you very much.
Wait, can I add the?
Yes, please.
Oh, I think someone has their hand up. You want to say something?
I'm so sorry. Do you want to come to the front?
Let me just stay. Okay, so just to add to what Boye said, right? Okay, let me start. Okay. All right, so the humanizing of the experience is in creating that design, because when you're designing maybe that automation, it's a human that is designing it. So we look at the NIBS issue that Favor showed us. Yes, we can see it as automating internal processes, right? But the thinking behind that design is the experience that it gives the customer, right? Which has actually transformed that automation from internal operational deficiencies or improvements to actually customer experience, right? So the humanizing is in the creation of or the designing of that automation, right? So even all of the automations that Boye had said, the escalation to Slack, right, that tells him when to follow up. You can tell that automation, yes, it works for him, but what's the end goal of that automation is that it has humanized that experience from the customer, because he is going to contact the customer, going to get the issue resolved, going to follow up with the customer, but that automation has already happened to make his job easier, to humanize that experience. So I just wanted to add that. Thank you.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Eno. I work with the CX team at Cowrywise. So just to speak on the strategy bit, one thing that just jumped at me is, so maybe an example would be, we're currently designing something we call the liveliness check. Uche is an engineer at Cowrywise and is helping us build that feature. So presently, for certain reasons, right, we need to identify our customers. We're a digital platform. We don't have customers walking. So we know we have human beings as customers, right? But we don't know them, right? So if there's any need for us to want to identify these people, it would mean, we have to maybe get on a video call or have them send selfies just to help us identify that they're actually human beings, alive human beings, right? So right now, we currently do that for hundreds of customers weekly. Yeah. So imagine having to do that for hundreds of customers every week. And that's not even scratching the surface of how many people we need to do it for. I think on a weekly basis, we need to do that for about 500 customers, right? But now we're building a tool that would help us identify that a customer is a real human being, is alive, and is not a false person, is not the false person. We're going to validate that against something we already have. So maybe there are pictures that they've sent to us when they onboarded or something, just to identify that this person is who they really say they are. And that tool will help us do that in seconds, right? Yeah. Right. So right. So in seconds, we're able to identify one customer. Imagine having to get on a video call. A video call typically takes 5 minutes, 2 to 5 minutes, right? And after that video call, a human being has to interact with another tool that would now say, oh, okay, this customer has been identified and this customer can proceed. So saving 20 seconds for the customers that would they would have to wait maybe 2 days normally, right? So imagine that a customer now has to just do that in 20 seconds, 1 minute maximum. The experience is already better for the customer. You've automated that process. You've made life easier for your customer, made life easier for yourself. So in terms of strategy, right, thinking through the automation process should not be, I want to do this because, of course, I want to make my life easy. But at the end of the day, what are we trying to achieve? We're trying to make sure that our customers have the best experiences. We're trying to make sure that our customers are happy, right? They are logging into our platforms, getting their money saved or getting their investment saved with little to no human interaction, and the experience is still top notch. So I think that's just one way we can think about it strategically. There are like 1,000 other ways we can implement automation to make sure that the experience for the customer is great. I hope I answered your question. I didn't get your name. John, thank you.
Alrighty. Thank you very much. It's a wrap. Yeah. Shane Badua, and at the end of the day, did you Badu us? Okay, that's right. All right. So we'll just be passing around juice. We know that you need some energy, something to just fill up your energy, and then. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope to see you in the next episode. You will come, John. Oh my God. Okay. I look forward to seeing you. Okay, so we'll be taking pictures outside, so don't be in a rush to leave. That being said, let's take a selfie together. So, or maybe a video liveliness check. So, so it's just a little video and say, you guys will say CX blueprint. You guys are Gen Z, right? Right, guys. Okay. Okay, I believe. Huh? Yeah, no. So, 1 second. Um, all right, let's see if I can see you. Okay, let me see if my camera is clean. Okay, so this is how I know you came, John. You can't see it. Oh my God. Okay. I still can't see it. Oh, yeah, no. Are you ready? So all you just say is CX blueprint. All right. Are you ready? Yes. 1, 2, ready, go. CX blueprint. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Let me do the same for people inside because you're not the only one here. That being said, please don't forget to interact with your neighbor. You don't know, somebody might be the next president here. I mean, hi, John, again.
So guys, if you've had your small chops and
Forget you, my online people. Thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to seeing you join us again. Yeah, I'll be going there. All right. Thank you very much. This guy.